I'm absolutely going to testify. I won't even say his name. He is an evil being and is going to pay. I think that I was just, living in this shame, living in all this sort of stuff of my past, and I wasn't able to move on. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
You're about to witness the precise moment when Diddy lost control during day 2 of the trial, immediately after learning that Justin Bieber had publicly declared his support for Cassie. Security had to intervene, and what transpired next shocked even the judge. Diddy was silent as his composed facade abruptly cracked his fists, clenched, his jaw tightened, and everyone in the room could feel the tension escalate when Justin Bieber's name echoed through the room.
Do you think the person that the you of then was on a path of self-destruction?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure, 100%, yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive, for sure. It was dark. So I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying that's what I want. But I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully, but yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and
Wow! I feel violated right now. Wow.
Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. Look at what a beautiful...
Bieber turned 15, and it suddenly seemed that Hollywood was keen to almost initiate him. I think that's the right word. Like there was almost like this initiation that he needed to go through. So I want you to be now super uncomfortable and watch this video of an interaction between him and none other than Diddy. Take a listen.
Justin, you ever seen the movie For the Times of Their Lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
Signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full.
Young Justin Bieber, who was signed by Usher, involved with Scooter Braun, now all of a sudden he's being put in the hands of Diddy, who, it is true, he became the legal guardian for Usher. You can look up all of the allegations of what Diddy did. The allegations are essentially that Diddy very much initiated Usher. As we are going through these lawsuits and Diddy is in prison, we are recognizing that everybody knew. This was an open secret about what Diddy was doing. So it just begs the question, who allowed Justin Bieber to be in the presence of this man, knowing what he was up to, allegedly up to? That seems to be very...
In court, a significant event occurred online. Justin Bieber dropped a bombshell on social media in the middle of the trial proceedings supporting. The whole thing hit particularly hard because Bieber and Diddy have a long history together. Remember those videos of Bieber hanging out at Diddy's parties as a teenager? Diddy used to call himself Justin's mentor and big brother, and he even boasted about helping to shape Bieber's career. History made this public statement feel like the ultimate betrayal. It wasn't just a general message of love and support instead. Bieber got specific and wrote about being Diddy's reaction and outburst at industry parties where he personally...
Yeah, so, yeah. I just want to protect her, I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So, yeah, if she ever needs me, just think about how young I was and so impressionable. And you have everybody telling me how awesome I am at all times, and like...
Yeah. It's like taking a kid and putting a kid in a room full of nothing but sweets.
Right.
And just saying, I'll be back in 2 days.
Exactly. I just want people to understand, like, the psychology behind why I potentially could have problems in my life. So.
Meantime, let's talk about the fact that Combs' co-defendant in a civil case, a case, by the way, that accuses him and this co-defendant, another A-lister, of rape. This guy is once again slamming the attorney behind the case, insisting that he be sanctioned for allegedly not doing his job. We're talking, of course, about Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, once again calling out attorney Tony Busby, calling out his character, more specifically into question, claiming that the Texas attorney's filings have, quote, substantial. Now, we've talked about this before, but basically, a civil lawsuit was filed against Sean Combs on behalf of a Jane Doe who says that she was raped by Combs and another celebrity at a home after the Video Music Awards in 2000.
Observed Diddy's actions towards Cassie, stating that he saw Diddy being grabbed. He told how Diddy interrupted Cassie in the middle of a sentence and spoke for her during interviews after putting too much pressure on her arm at an after-party in 2015. These were first-hand observations made during the first court recess, and the posts went viral. People were huddled in groups. In the courthouse hallways displaying their phones to one another, a court officer had to remind everyone to turn off their devices before re-entering, and legal assistants printed screenshots for the attorneys to review. Some jurors appeared perplexed by the loud noises coming from the hallway.
18 years old, and I should mention he was signed by Usher to a label that was owned jointly by both Scooter Braun and Usher, and he was considered Usher's protege. He has been described Usher as his mentor. Justin Bieber, is continuing the purge. He has now moved to his original mentor. So this is a very big story, and the reason why we should discuss this and we should not diminish what is happening, it's not celebrity drama. This is actually the fall of Babylon that we are witnessing, Hollywood Babylon, that is. He did an interview back in 2020 with Zane Lowe. I think this was on Apple Music. And he was speaking about another young artist that was coming up, Billie Eilish, and Eilish. And he was basically speaking about how he wanted to protect her because she was now another young person, a rising artist in the industry. And sort of out of nowhere, he became quite overcome with emotion. Take a listen.
Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, she can count on me. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted.
I'm not even kidding. Watching that clip makes me emotional because he is saying so much without really saying anything. Protect Billie Eilish from what? From who?
Sensing that something significant had occurred, the post featured this striking vintage image that said 1,000 words. It featured Bieber and Cassie at a music event years ago, both of them grinning, but there was something in Cassie's eyes. Bieber captioned the photo saying, "Sorry, I didn't speak up sooner. He has always respected Cassie's strength." The timing couldn't have been worse for Diddy within minutes after his 270 million followers saw the post. News websites were already making headlines. This was no longer just celebrity rumors. Instead, it was a huge star mouthing, "Did you see it?" to his colleague across the aisle. And everyone knew that this was a game changer. About how
And weeks after the initial filing, Busby submitted an amended complaint naming Jay-Z as the celebrity who allegedly participated. They wanted copies of these videos for themselves. And I've talked to lawyers about this before. There's a big advantage to having the electronic video, the electronic evidence yourself, right? You don't have to always go over to the other office. You can view the materials on your own. It's a way to better prepare for your defense. And Sean Combs' lawyers argued that under the federal rules of criminal procedure, electronic data that is in the government's possession, Judge Subramanian denied the defense's motion to amend the protective order, but without prejudice, meaning this issue could be revisited. So Subramanian's order reads, quote, "While the government objects to handing the videos over, they provide several options for a defendant to consider that would permit the defense to view the videos, access the information they're looking for, and even allow them to manipulate the video."
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So if she ever needs me, I'm going to be here for her. But But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters, and I just want to protect her, you know? I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. Yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
Do you realize how important your story is? Every time I have a conversation with someone who's been through this unique type of experience, I'm searching for some kind of truth that can help.
I commend you for going there and asking the tough questions and the things that people don't want to talk about, and they don't want to go there because it's revealing, and I want people to take a look at my story, and hopefully my words can make.
When Diddy saw Bieber's post, his face changed as if someone had flipped a switch. First, he had this look of complete shock. His eyes widened. His mouth actually hung open, and then his eyebrows pulled together as the betrayal hit him. The scary part was witnessing that turn into rage, with his nostrils flaring and his jaw clenched so tightly that you could practically hear his teeth grinding. A woman sitting 3 rows back later told reporters that Diddy's hands began to shake uncontrollably as he attempted to pick up some papers his lawyer had given him, but he was unable to hold them steady. The first real warning sign was when Diddy abruptly stood up. It wasn't a typical, "I need to stretch, stand up." Instead, it was an abrupt and aggressive one. The babe, who had been observing him intently all morning, moved forward right away, and you could tell that his breathing had become labored and heavy, as if he had just run upstairs. The court sketches from that moment are genuinely unsettling. The artist perfectly captured Diddy's expression. He continued to fidget, running his hand over his face and releasing his tie as if it were choking him. The break only gave Diddy more time to stew in his rage while his legal team huddled.